Welcome to the session on digital marketing. Students, before we proceed ahead, I would take you through a quick recap of what we did in the previous sessions. We discussed about the difference between traditional and digital marketing. We also had a discussion on factors that trigger the shift from conventional marketing system towards the digital platform, more specifically towards internet and web, and also discussed about the various phases of transition from web 1.0 to web 3.0. We also had a discussion on how the transition from conventional platforms to the digital marketing platforms has led towards a shift from segmentation to community building. That is, you have more communities and groups on digital space, from brands that have positioned themselves very strongly using the traditional platform towards brands that are now into more clarification and are working with a more consistent approach. We also discussed how the 4P paradigm has changed in the context of digital marketing, where we talk about 4 C's, that is how you co-create, how you go ahead with dynamic pricing, how there is a communal activation in the form of community building and the conversation that happens from peer to peer or between the complete strangers. And lastly, we also had a look at the consumer value journey, that is the extent to which you take them from awareness to advocacy and what are the stages that are involved therein. In today's session, students, we would learn more about the aspect related to the consumer's influence and how this consumer influence will give us an understanding towards the way consumers behave on the digital platform. Now, with the ever changing market, and if we were to understand the cutting edge marketing, we also need to understand how the market has evolved over the years. The various trends, the various clues that are available for us give us an understanding that there is an emergence of new breed of customer, the one that is going to be there in existence in the near future and one that is emerging globally. And this breed of customer is young, urban, middle class consumers that have strong mobility and connectivity. Now, when we talk about connectivity, students, this becomes the hallmark of your digital presence or the center focus of your digital marketing activities. We also learn that connectivity is the most important game changer of not only marketing but also the market itself. It not only significantly reduces the cost of interaction which happens between the companies, employees, channel partners, various customers, other relevant stakeholders, but also reduces the barriers or get rid of the barriers which are present to enter the new markets, enables concurrent product development, and as a result we see that there is shortening of the time frame for your brand building exercises. We also see that when you are connecting with so many partners, with so many consumers, with employees, with your competitors, with the other stakeholders, it also brings out a change in the way we see that the competition evolves over a period of time. Companies must face the reality that in order to win over the consumers, you have to collaborate with the external parties and sometimes also invite active consumer participation. Connectivity, let us understand, students, what it is. Broadly, you can understand it in the form of an interaction which happens between the companies, employees, channel partners, customers, and all relevant parties or all relevant stakeholders. The misnomer is that it is often rated, or it is often understood only as an application of technology that is only limited to your screen technology and the internet. But if you look beyond, you see that connectivity is only not limited to how you use the device or how you have the screen time, but it also changes the way you look at your competition and you look at your customers. Like when you talk about connectivity, one is that you are having a connectivity through your mobile phone. You can also have experiential connectivity where you experience, dealing with lot of things which are happening in the internet or in the digital space. So it gives you a seamless experience when you are navigating on the net. There is also social connectivity because you not only interact with your social groups, you have your own social networks and you have a very strong presence in your social groups and social networks. All this results into a holistic perspective of connectivity that you have in the digital landscape. Now, when you are connected with all these aspects in the digital space, you find that there is a change that you see in terms of the way you interact. That is how the online interaction is going to be different from the offline interaction. How you are dealing with consumers who are informed yet seem to be quite distracted. And we see how the advocacy which we have spoken about earlier, how that advocacy is going to be branched into two, that is the negative as well as the positive advocacy. Taking up the first one, let us try to understand, students, how there is a difference between, or how there is a change when you move from the offline platforms to digital platforms. That is how your interaction undergoes a change. We find that there is a shift to a more horizontal rather than vertical. There is a more horizontal, inclusive and social business landscape, which means that you are interacting with diverse group of people, even complete strangers, and therefore you are not restricted to whom you are talking out, but you are all over the place. There is no limitation, there is no geographical barriers that you are facing. So you come into contact with so many people, and that too from diverse groups that become a part of your social group, and you keep on growing that social group over a period of time. We also find that consumers of late have become increasingly skeptical of the communication that they hear from the brands. Instead, they want to rely more on the interaction which happens between the groups, between people. So they seek advice and reviews both online and offline from different people that they come into contact with in the digital market space. When you interact, it is the high touch interaction and the interface, the digital interface or the technological platform which actually becomes a differentiator. So you find that in case of the offline platforms, you are only relying on market communications in order to pitch in your product or in order to talk about your product. But in case of the online landscape, you have reviews, you have lot of social interaction, there is peer to peer, and there is a community building which is happening, and that is sharing between each other, which is letting you know and interact better. Now, when you talk about online and offline interaction, the key word that it has emerged, the key learning that has emerged from the discussion so far is that the future of marketing will be a seamless blend of online and offline experiences. We cannot say that there will be a clear-cut dichotomy, but it is the blend of both online and offline experiences that the consumer is going to have that is going to decide whether the particular marketing effort is going to turn out to be successful or not. The second thing that one needs to take into account is whether you are dealing with the consumer who is informed yet he or she is distracted. He is in a different world altogether, and therefore at times brands feel that they are finding it difficult to connect with such a consumer. Why this is happening? Because consumers are now making informed, rational purchase decisions. But at the same time, they are exactly not in control of what they want to buy. Right? So they are getting influenced by many factors. In some of the previous session, we also had a discussion on how there is a influence of yourself, plus others and all the other elements which are present in your external environment, that is going to result into a situation where the consumer or you as a consumer end up buying what may not be your preferred choice. So, it is basically the influence which is guiding your choices. So, as you are essentially in the digital market space influenced by these factors like the advertising or marketing communication strategies of various companies, you are also affected by your own personal knowledge, your expertise, your attitude, your behavior, your search behavior, with respect to brands, your attitude that or certain kind of predisposition that you have formed based on your past experiences with the brand, or your F factor, which includes your family, your friend, your followers, maybe your fans, which shape up how the consumer is largely going to behave. Now, but at the same time, because you are connected, the connectivity brings out distraction. You get digressed. You are listening all to so many things. Now, just imagine a situation where due to certain influences of marketing communication strategies, you have made up your mind to go for something or to behave in a certain manner. But then because you are connected with somebody who turns out to be a different, having a different opinion about that particular product can act as a distraction, or some other activity over the net can act as a distraction, and therefore we say that in order to win the consumer and really ensure that he is not behaving in that kind of a lost manner, one has to work towards brand awareness. You have to indulge into conversations, you have to indulge into customer communities which are talking favorably about the brand, and the entire conversation or the interaction is revolving around the brand in a healthy manner, in the favor of the brand. Next, what we have seen, students, is the advocacy part, how you are taking it forward and how you are actually spreading a positive word of mouth and advocating, recommending the brand to others over the digital platform. Again, your connectivity is going to come handy. Your connectivity is going to create a perfect environment for you to advocate a brand. When we talk about people who advocate, or consumers who take this advocacy forward, we find consumers who recommend, consumers who are neutral, they do not recommend, but at the same time these are the consumers who are more or less passive about that particular brand, and the third category who are unlikely to recommend the brand, and they are unlikely to recommend the brand because according to them it is may not be worth it, or they might have had a negative experience with that particular brand in the past. It is not bad to have a negative advocacy. In fact, if you come to think of it, students, at times it is the negative advocacy that leads you to connect and leads you to interact more, because you want to learn more about what has led to this negative advocacy about the brand. So, it is not always good. You can go forward in that particular direction, but so long as you are recommending and you are advocating, that should do the job in the digital landscape. Now, this brand advocacy, it can either be spontaneous, that you go around and you start advocating the brand, or it could be prompted at the end of the brands, or it can be prompted at the end of the other parties who are working for the brand. But without both, the key learning is that without both positive and negative advocacy, the conversations would be very dull. They would be very engaging. They will become very monotonous, because you are just talking only either about the positive aspects of the brand or only about negative aspects of the brand. If you come to think about it, it also results in the conversation becoming less credible in nature. If you are talking about both, you are talking about the positive side also, you are talking about the flip side also, the conversations around the brand become more engaging, more meaningful and more credible in nature, and that is what the customers do and they should be doing, and this is how the brands are going to get benefit from bringing out or creating or developing these brand conversations on the internet. From what we have understood, students, there are certain characteristics that differentiate a online consumer from an offline one. One, they are very comfortable with the medium. We have seen that they connect with the medium. It is not only technological medium, but the connectivity is very high, and they have become very comfortable with the digital platform as such. Looking at that digital interface and working on that particular digital interface has become very efficient, which comes out very naturally to them. They don't hang around for long maybe, but in that case your content needs to deliver what they want. So long as you are delivering in terms of your content, if you are delivering what they really want and you are delivering it pretty quickly, you should be able to grab the attention of your digital consumer. We also see that they want it all, and they want it immediately, they want it now. The consumer's time has become precious. Okay? They want information in a format which they can scan for relevance very easily. They don't want to invest a lot of time in searching for the information or maybe examining the detail. Designers, marketeers, they need to accommodate this desire to scan and to instantly come out with some constructive idea about what is actually the online offering and what is going to be the value proposition which is inbuilt about it. It is not only value for time that we are talking about, the value for money that we are talking about. The overall value proposition should come out very clearly in the online offering, and that happens when you are able to give them information which is very easy to scan, because they want it very quick. They are always in control. We find that online consumer, what differentiates them from the rest of the group of consumers is that they want to be in the situation of absolute control. These are the consumers with whom you are dealing with in Web 2.0 world. If you are failing to grasp or understand the simple fact that your target audience is not going to engage with you, they will disengage with you if they do not want to be engaged in, then no amount of marketing effort would eventually work. We need to tailor, as marketeers, we need to tailor our efforts to be more consumer centric, user centric. It has to be more permission based, so that you know when you are reaching out to them and are they really willing enough to engage with you or with the brand at that point in time, and then you have to offer a real value proposition to them so as to garner positive results and most importantly their positive advocacy. But all said, we also know that they are distracted. We also know that they are fickle. They are also, in some sort of a, state of dilemma. Building trust because of so many reasons. We know that there are always trust issues and there are always security reasons why people do not want to, go for the online landscape or all online marketing activities. So it is largely building trust in a brand that is going to act as fundamental to your entire digital marketing effort. Now, today's consumer is very powerful when it comes to their information search, when it comes to their power to compare and exchange notes, when it comes to their comparative abilities to distinguish between one and the other brand. Now, how you stack up your value proposition and how you are able to really convince the consumer that you are the one who is going to give him a better value proposition than the rival firm is what is going to decide the future of your digital marketing efforts. In all, we can say that it is the brand identity which may be valuable, but it is your overall value proposition and how that overall value proposition gels in the complete offering that you are making to the consumer that is going to decide your success in the digital marketing landscape. We also find that they are very vocal. They are at times, when you talk about certain consumer groups which are very active on the digital platforms, they are very loud and they are very vocal, they are very explicit in terms of what they want to say and what they want to share. Through peer-to-peer reviews you see, or the blogs that you come across and you read, or the social networks which are very active online, or in some of the cases even your forums, even your communities, they tell each other and share with each other a lot of things, both positive as well as negative. As we have said that there can be positive experiences, there can be negative experiences, and it is a complete balanced blend of the two which is going to add credibility to your entire marketing effort. Now, from a marketeer's perspective, this is a kind of a risk. This is a kind of a double-edged sword, students. You have to learn as a marketer to harness or to reap the positive aspects, and you can have an incredible viral potential to propagate your message, make it really cumulative in nature. But one step that you take in the wrong direction, or one negative experience, or one negative post that you have, you can easily be on the receiving end of a very uncomfortable online backlash. So, it is a bad news travel fast, and that exactly is what happens in the digital platforms. If there is one negative experience or one negative situation, that is going to earn you very bad word of mouth, and that is going to kill your entire digital marketing effort. So, you have to really harness both. You need to have both in order to lend more credibility to your effort, but at the same time you should know how to capitalize more on the positive experiences, and how to still talk about negative, but do not let them dominate your entire campaign or let them go uncontrollable, so that you will end up having a negative or backlash kind of a thing in the market. Now, let us look at what exactly are we looking at when it comes to consumers. What kind of possible consumer segments the marketeers need to connect with in order to have successful digital presence. One is youth. Students, even it has been backed by the data that young people, youth of today, is the primary and probably the most profitable customer. He may or may not be profitable today to you, but in future, obviously it makes sense if you invest in the youth segment. Not only because of the huge demographic size of young people that you have, but also because of the fact that they are early adopters. They don't mind taking risk. They are not afraid of experimenting. They are not afraid of trying things. If you compare with the older counterparts, older generation people, you would find that they are not as quick to adopt change as a younger generation consumer segment, and as a result they are more agile. They are willing to adjust, and they are willing to adopt the things as they are changing with time. Not only they follow trends, but at the same time you would also find the young people acting as trend setters. They emerge as trend. They are the ones who set the trends, and then the ball goes rolling. They can become trendsetters to such an extent that they change the entire market game. All in all, we can say, students, that if a brand really wants to influence the minds of the mainstream consumer, then you have to take the first step in terms of convincing and connecting with youth. Now, not only this, but it also makes a lot of sense to target youth for some different reasons. The goal is to be relevant in young people's lives. Now, how you can do that? You can do that only when you talk about something which is of relevance to them, and therefore you can have access to their growing wallets in the process of becoming relevant for their lives. Even marketeers whose products and services do not primarily aim at young customers, they still pursue this lucrative market because they find this to be a good investment that they are making for their future. The objective is to influence the minds as quickly as you can in the very early stages of their lives, even it is not turning out to be profitable for you at present, because a youth first strategy often has the highest likelihood of success. Like you find that when music streaming actually started with so many players, youth were the only ones who started off the trend, who were the early adopters of music streaming services. Youth is also very fragmented, they are very much divided. While many youth endorsed trends, they turn out to be short lived fads. Because of this fragmentation, they keep on coming in and out, hopping in and out of some trend which is very short lived. Some evolving trends do manage to hit the mainstream and they really make it very, very successful and viral. This again happens with the youth only. So you never know on which side the tables are going to turn eventually. An example is that you can see that there is a YouTube artist, or maybe there is some YouTuber, and he or she is being followed by millions of youth, and sometimes he gets that particular presence and is able to make it big only because of the fact that he has got millions of followers. In fact, the entire social media started out as a trend among the youth. So students, we have seen that it is the youth which is emerging as a very promising consumer segment in the digital landscape, and all the digital marketeers have to connect with the youth and really consider them to be their starting point of connect if they really want to make it successful in terms of their digital marketing ideas. Thank you so much. We'll have more discussion on more segments that the marketeers can tap in the digital landscape in the future session. Thank you.